Happy Monday, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to approach Greenland from a different perspective as Greg, but I'm with him on the fact that I don't remember the last time I've thought about Greenland. And I think you, as our viewing audience, has been the same way. It's you're aware of it, and that's about it. And actually, we were joking. The last time I remember thinking about Greenland was when I was watching The Princess Bride, the classic movie, where Andre the Giant plays Fezzik the Giant, and he's being ostracized by Vicini, the brilliant, mad little Italian man. And Vicini's lecturing him, saying, I'm just going to have to take you where I found you, unemployed in Greenland. That's about the most I've ever heard about Greenland. Not a good thing. Oh, and by the way, Fezzik says, "Oh, please don't do that, Vicini." So I didn't have a positive thought about Greenland. I am aware that Eric the Red, the Viking, was the first European to discover it. He named it Greenland in a marketing ploy to try to attract more settlers to it. Obviously, it's not green at all, but he thought by calling it Greenland, it might be a little more attractive. And then it was a staging point for Eric's son, Leif Erikson, to then come down to North America, where he created the settlement on Newfoundland, the first European to reach North America. So, all right, there's a little history for you. But now let's talk about the economics of what in the world is Trump talking about? Why are we now thinking about Greenland at all? Well, Greg's perspective militarily makes so much sense, and he's going to go more into that. But let's look at what else is there for us, why it would be attractive. Trump wants to be energy independent. He's talked about drill, baby, drill. He wants to be less reliant on China for rare earth minerals. What does Greenland have? A ton of natural resources, tons of oil, tons of natural resources, tons of rare earth minerals. Now, it's on a frozen big landmass, so it's difficult to get to, but it's kind of like having them in the bank, just kind of stored away. And for energy independence, it would be a huge boom to the United States to have those resources. Oh, by the way, Australia has a mine on Greenland. China is negotiating with Greenland to start extracting rare earth minerals out of there, and as well as drilling around the coast. So it's not just President Trump in the United States that's looking at Greenland, other nations are as well. Oh, and I did kind of dig into this, and Trump's not the first president to talk about this. In fact, Harry Truman was talking about it right after World War II. Now, it didn't happen, and who knows if it'll happen now, but now it's starting to make sense. So, all right, why is he talking about Greenland? Because of the natural resources. And that's what Greg and I have been saying. The world needs energy, right? That's why we're invested the way we are. Is that demand going to go up or down? It's only going to go up, which would make sense for a president to say, hey, how can we get more of this stuff for our country? All right, so that's it. Now, and that relates to your portfolios. Now, one last thing I do want to kind of briefly touch on is these devastating fires. We've all been heartbroken watching the footage on TV of these fires in Los Angeles. Now, I've heard some really heartbreaking stories about these homes being burned down without any fire insurance because the insurance companies have left. And my first response is, oh my gosh, these insurance companies have left. What in the world? They're leaving these homeowners on their own. Well, let's talk about some economics here because I started digging into this. Turns out fire insurance in California is below the national average, even though they have a much greater chance of having fire disasters than the national average. Why are those insurance premiums so low? Because the state legislature has created laws limiting how much insurance companies can charge. Meanwhile, there's no limit to how much insurance companies might have to pay in a disaster. So this goes back to supply, demand, just basic economics. And this is why Greg and I are also always interested in politics and how it might apply to economics. This is a classic example. Politicians have decided that insurance companies can only charge so much, even though 8 of the last 10 most expensive fires have been in California. The legislature has said you can only charge this much. Well, insurance companies say, okay, fair enough. We're just not going to offer insurance there. And then they've left. So that explains it. That makes sense. So you may not care about politics, but as Pericles said, politics always cares about you. All right. With that, you all have a great week and see you next time. Bye-bye.